Have you ever walked into a room and felt time slow down, as if the air itself was resting gently around you? That's the magic of green and cream. These aren't just colors, they're feelings. They remind us of garden clippings in a water glass on the windowsill, of heirloom linens gently sun-bleached through the seasons, of moments that don't ask for attention, but quietly stay with you. Welcome to the cozy yesteryear, where we celebrate the art of creating a home that feels like an embrace from the past. We believe in soft light, meaningful details, and spaces that speak in quiet tones. If you enjoy timeless style, nostalgic charm, and stories told in light and shadow, we invite you to stay a while. Our video today is a gentle journey into the world of green and cream styling, a palette that captures the heart of summer with grace and calm. In this world, a pale green teacup tells a story, and a creamy woven throw can anchor a whole room. As you watch, let the visuals breathe. Let them speak to your memories, your hopes for home. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share your favorite moments in the comments below. We love hearing your reflections. Now, take a deep breath. Settle in. Let's explore how soft greens and gentle creams can shape a home that soothes the soul and carries the quiet joy of yesteryear. Green and cream may sound simple, but when paired with care, they create a harmony that feels both grounded and airy, like ivy on old stone or parchment beneath a sprig of fresh mint. These two tones seem to know each other deeply, one offering freshness, the other warmth. In this video, we'll share 10 styling ideas that show just how versatile and timeless this palette can be. From delicate patterns to antique accents, from natural woods to cozy textiles, green and cream can be rustic, refined, or a little bit of both. Imagine a living room where an old pine bench holds a linen cushion in the palest moss shade, or a kitchen where open shelves are lined with cream pottery and green-tinted glass. The possibilities are endless, yet always cohesive. We'll move from space to space, living rooms, bedrooms, kitchens, porches, highlighting how these two colors create balance and quiet delight. Whether your home is filled with heirlooms or newly gathered treasures, this palette has a way of making everything feel settled and serene. Each section is designed to evoke a calm, summer elegance that lasts well beyond the season. Green adds life, cream offers calm. Together, they echo the rhythm of summer gardens and old family linens. So whether you're dreaming of a little corner retreat or planning a whole home refresh, let green and cream be your guide. They won't demand attention, but they'll hold it. They don't follow fads, but they never go out of style. And most of all, they invite you to come home to yourself. Walls are often overlooked, yet they hold such power to define a room's mood. In a green and cream-styled home, wall decor can become an extension of the natural world just beyond the windows. Think vintage botanical prints framed in soft green or cream wood. Pressed ferns between glass. A collection of old floral paintings with faded palettes and crackled finishes. These are not just decorations, they are windows into another time, another pace. A wall of cream shiplap becomes the perfect backdrop for these quiet pieces. Each one chosen not to impress, but to comfort. You might hang a straw hat or an old garden tool alongside the art, objects once used, now remembered. Maybe a garland of dried herbs strung loosely on twine. These choices bring the garden in, softly, without formality. They tell a story of seasons past and the tender work of hands that cared for things that grow. In rooms with little natural green, wall decor becomes especially vital. A hand-painted wreath. A watercolor of ivy. Even a shadow box of wildflower seeds. Each speaks softly, like a garden whisper. Green and cream on the walls aren't flashy, but they steady the room. Because in the cozy yesteryear, walls don't just divide space, they hold memories in the making. In a green and cream-styled home, it's often the smallest spaces that carry the most charm. A hallway nook with a single green chair and a folded cream afghan. A quiet corner shelf adorned with a single framed photo and a jar of dried lavender. These are the vignettes, small, thoughtful arrangements that turn the everyday into art. Styling a vignette is like writing a haiku, simple, balanced, and full of intention. A green candlestick. A stack of linen-bound books. A cream dish of dried rose petals. These things may not shout, but they hum with feeling. Place them on a windowsill, a bedside table, or near the kitchen sink. Let them surprise you in quiet moments. These tiny scenes hold presence. They reflect the rhythm of your life, the soft landing spots, the memories held loosely. And as you live among them, they evolve. A note tucked into the mirror. A leaf brought in from a walk. Green and cream offer a neutral base for these living still lives to change with the seasons, with your mood. Over time, they become less about styling and more about belonging. And perhaps that's the secret to a timeless home. It's not in the grand gestures, but in the gentle ones that repeat themselves day after day. Look for the corners. Cherish the in-betweens. Fill them not with clutter, but with calm. Sometimes, the smallest touches create the deepest mood. A single stem in a milk glass vase. A handful of herbs in an old mason jar. Green doesn't need to shout, it just needs to be placed with intention. On a kitchen shelf, arrange clippings from the garden beside cream-colored ceramics or old ironstone pitchers. The contrast is gentle, and the textures sing softly together. You might even use an old enamelware pot, chipped but still lovely, to hold a trailing ivy. There's a rhythm here, age meets freshness, utility meets beauty. And somehow, it all feels personal. Like something your grandmother might have done without thinking, and you now do with love. Even a small bouquet of parsley or thyme in a tiny creamer can add a breath of life to a windowsill. These touches are quiet, but they anchor a space. They remind us that beauty doesn't have to be bought. Sometimes, it's snipped from the yard or pulled from a drawer. A cluster of tiny green glass bottles, each holding a stem or leaf, can become a story of the season. When combined with creamy backdrops, old doilies, worn wood, whitewashed shelves, they bring the garden indoors without fanfare. In this kind of decor, the lines blur between display and daily life. And that's the charm. It's a reminder that a home is not just what we fill it with, but how we live within it, how we notice, arrange, and honor the little things. Start with a blank canvas, like a cream-colored sofa in soft cotton or linen, and layer it with green in the subtlest of ways. A sage throw, perhaps, folded neatly over the arm. A pair of embroidered pillows with ivy detailing. Nothing too bold. The idea is to let the cream remain dominant, like sunlight in a quiet room, while green brings the shadows of nature in. A nearby potted plant, something humble, like a fern or pothose, ties it all together. This kind of styling doesn't chase trends, it invites a pause. And in that pause, you might notice how the fabric creases or how the light softens along the stitching. It's a space that asks nothing of you, and yet gives you rest. The cream allows the room to feel expansive, while the green adds a grounding touch. Add a side table in distressed wood, maybe painted in a faded sage, with a ceramic lamp casting a soft golden glow. Books stacked nearby. A candle. Perhaps an old quilt draped gently across one corner. These elements, while simple, become layered in meaning. They recall Sunday afternoons. Letters not yet mailed. Conversations that linger. In this room, life unfolds at a different pace. It's not decorated to impress but to comfort. And when you step into it, even for a moment, you feel as if the outside world can wait, that here, in this green and cream sanctuary, time belongs to you again. A once-forgotten dresser, now painted in muted green chalk paint, becomes a showpiece in a quiet room. The color, cool, dusty, almost gray, pairs beautifully with cream lace runners or aged brass knobs. Don't worry about perfection. Let the brush strokes show. Let the corners wear down. This is about charm, not polish. Place a bowl of green apples on top. Hang a cream-toned vintage mirror above. Suddenly, the space speaks. It says, here is something old, made new again, but still holding on to its past. Painted furniture like this is more than decor. It's memory in motion. And the green brings a certain groundedness, a reminder of trees, gardens, and mossy trails. Cream softens it, gives it breath. A cabinet door left ajar, showing stacks of embroidered linens or folded quilts, feels inviting rather than staged. This furniture isn't just placed, it's part of a scene, a rhythm. And whether it stands in a hallway, a bedroom, or a sunroom, its quiet presence tells you that something familiar has been lovingly brought forward, and in doing so, has become timeless once more. There is something deeply comforting about soft textiles. A green linen curtain catching the breeze. A cream quilt draped across a worn wooden chair. These are the things that transform a space from something seen to something felt. In the bedroom, layering green and cream textiles adds not only depth but also a quiet, lived-in elegance. A pale sage duvet with hand-stitched details. Cream pillowcases edged in vintage lace. Perhaps a faded floral print as a backdrop, grounding the room in subtle nostalgia. These aren't pieces you rush to replace each season, they linger, soften, become part of your daily rhythm. When sunlight filters through linen curtains, it doesn't just illuminate, it warms the room in mood and memory. A stack of folded throws in varying shades of cream and moss might rest on a bench at the foot of the bed. Not just decorative, but always within reach. These textiles hold stories, birthday mornings, late-night readings, winter naps. Their colors connect us to the outside world while offering protection from it. Green feels alive. Cream feels safe. Together, they create a room that doesn't demand perfection, only presence. A place to rest, to dream, to wake slowly. In a world that often moves too fast, this soft layering reminds us to cherish the simple touch of fabric, the coolness of linen, the weight of a quilt, all the quiet comforts that make a house a home. A table set in green and cream becomes more than a surface, it becomes an invitation. Whether for morning tea, a quiet lunch, or a candlelit supper, there's something deeply grounding about these two hues meeting at the table. Imagine a faded green gingham runner over a whitewashed farmhouse table. Ceramic plates in soft cream, touched by age and faint floral details, resting beside vintage flatware. The napkins. Perhaps linen, gently frayed at the edges, tied with twine and a sprig of rosemary. This is styling that whispers instead of shouts. It remembers birthdays, summer lunches, handwritten notes tucked under a plate. In this space, food is only part of the nourishment. The textures and tones, cool ceramic, soft fabric, weathered wood, work together to comfort and charm. A glass bottle filled with simple greens from the garden can become the centerpiece. Even the most modest meal feels meaningful here. When green and cream come together at the table, they make time feel generous. Guests linger. Stories unfold. And even alone, with a book and a warm drink, the table becomes a place to pause. It's in these humble combinations that beauty blooms. And as the seasons shift, the setting can evolve without losing its soul. There's something deeply nostalgic about a kitchen with soft green cabinets and cream countertops. It brings to mind the gentle clatter of morning dishes, the scent of herbs drying in the window, the sound of bread being sliced on a worn board. In this setting, green becomes a grounding force, a nod to the garden, to tradition, to meals prepared with care. Cream keeps it all light, open, and airy. Together, they create a kitchen that feels like it's always been there. You might line the shelves with vintage canisters or transferware plates in green and ivory patterns. Open shelving painted in sage can hold baskets of linen napkins, jars of jam, or hand-thrown mugs. Underneath, cream countertops, perhaps a soft marble or butcher block bleached by time, invite the touch. They are working surfaces, but they're also memory keepers. Maybe you add a small green stool tucked under the counter, or cream beadboard lining the walls. Add brass hooks for hanging aprons and pot holders. These elements build a kitchen that's not designed to be perfect, but to be loved. It's a space for recipes passed down, for children's drawings taped to the fridge, for coffee brewed slowly and sipped even slower. Green and cream here evoke heritage, warmth, and a deeply lived-in grace. And whether you cook often or just love the feel of a nurturing kitchen, this palette will welcome you daily. In every corner, there's a quiet story of home waiting to be told. Imagine a porch bathed in late afternoon light, with green painted rockers and creamy cushions that soften as you sit. This is where green and cream styling meets open air, a space that greets neighbors, welcomes breezes, and soothes restless thoughts. A faded green bench rests under hanging baskets of trailing vines. Cream curtains flutter in the wind, tied back with ribbon or twine. Maybe there's a vintage table set for iced tea, with mismatched chairs that have hosted decades of conversation. A green watering can leans nearby. A woven rug in soft earth tones softens the floor beneath your feet. The beauty of green and cream on a porch lies in how it bridges the indoors and outdoors. It feels finished but never fussy. You might have cream lanterns that glow at dusk, or a shelf lined with potted herbs in weathered clay. These touches, green for life, cream for calm, make this space more than a passage. It becomes a resting place, a welcome moment at the edge of the day. Even in winter, the colors hold their magic. A cream throw on the bench, pine branches in a green tin bucket, still soft, still seasonal. A porch styled this way says, "Come as you are. Stay a while." And often, once you do, you won't want to leave. And now, as our journey through green and cream draws to a close, let's take one last, lingering look at what these colors bring to a home. They aren't bold. They don't rush. But they stay. Like an old friend who knows just when to offer tea or a story. They hold the mood of early summer, when the garden is still tender and the air smells of clover and cotton. A home touched with green and cream doesn't boast. It breathes. It carries the past and welcomes the present. It reflects light in soft whispers and holds shadows like poetry. We hope this video has left you inspired to bring a little of that quiet beauty into your own home. Whether it's a pillow, a paintbrush, or a new way to see an old space, every choice matters. Thank you for spending this time with us at the Cozy Yesteryear. If this brought comfort to your day, we would love for you to like the video, leave a comment sharing your favorite idea, and subscribe for more timeless inspiration. More gentle stories and styling ideas are just around the corner. Until next time, may your home be a place where light lingers, where greens grow quietly, and where cream wraps every corner in calm. You're always welcome here.